Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany and this is Brittany on a Budget. In today's video, I'll be going over my 2025 paycheck routine using my favorite banking and budgeting application, Qube Money. If you've seen my previous video, which was a while back, probably in 2023, I'm very sorry for that, I showed you how I use Qube Money, which is what I'm showing on my screen here now. My usage of the application is a little different now because I've learned how to use their planning tool correctly. And so I'm coming on here just to do this quick introduction. Will mostly be on the desktop on my computer screen. And so we'll get right over to that. Again, thank you for coming back to my channel and Happy New Year. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Editing Brittany here, just jumping on to apologize for the audio quality for the next part of this video. Please ignore it, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
On this video, I'm going to show you how to use Qube Money under their planning tool. So as you can see, as soon as you log into the Qube account, you have your overview. So your available balance, unallocated funds. So if there's a deposit that you recently made to your account, it's unallocated. It hasn't been given a job, so to speak. And you can see the 3 jobs listed here. So spending, bills, and goals. You'll also see your recent activities, any recent reports, as well as your cash flow from this month and your spending budget. And so I really like the changes Qube has made. It's going to be so cool getting to show you how to effectively use their planning tool because I've only just now figured it out. And so first, I'm going to go over some terms that are typical to using Qube. So first of all, Qube, Qube, is like an envelope, similar to cash envelope budgeting. Instead, it's called Qube. You have cubes or envelopes that live in 3 boxes or 3 homes, essentially. So spending has its own set of cubes or envelopes. Bills will have their own set of envelopes or cubes, and your goals will have their own envelope and cube. Let's go to spending so I can break this down even further. So as you can see, I've kept things simple and made my spending, which is not my fixed bills. These are the variable spending that I have. You'll have wants, needs, culture, unexpected. I'm sort of using the Kakebo labels, but once you click into a cube, you have a lot of information. So you have your cube list on the left, and it's sorted by last activity. For me right now, sorted by last activity. You can sort it by most opened, which is once. You can sort this alphabetically, or you can sort it by balance, or you can manually sort it so you can customize the way you want it to look. And this setup or this interface will look the same whether you're in bills or goals. And I'll show you those tabs as well. So looking in the middle, you'll see your activity, so your transaction activity based on that particular cube that you're clicked on. So I'm on wants, but if I look in unexpected, you'll see the most recent activity I had was in September of 2023. I also have my needs, culture, and cash is fairly new. This is a cube that I'm going to use to transfer to regions because I'm going to start using cash in 2025. So and lastly, over on the right-hand side of your screen, you see balance. So this is going to show you the balance for this particular cube. If I choose this, you'll see that changes. What's really interesting is the information below. So this is where budget or the planning aspect of Qube comes into play. As you can see, the budget for this time frame from January 3rd to January 16th, I have 2413 set aside, which isn't very much to go over to Qube. The budget left for this period, $0. So there's 29 days left. There's $0 left to be spent because I didn't set anything aside from last month. I didn't put anything here, and there hasn't been anything spent yet. Allocation. So this will indicate, let's say, if you are budgeting on a monthly budget cadence, then this would have how much you've allocated so far and how much you have left to allocate if you have more months left, so to speak. So I'm budgeting by paycheck. And so that's why this looks this way. My next paycheck is tomorrow on January 3rd. So this is showing you, okay, for this pay cycle, this is how much you have allotted for this particular cube. Lastly, you have your stats. So this is where if this cube has history. So if you've spent over the course of a year from this particular cube, as you can see, this cube is new to my budget. So it doesn't have any history. So it's only been here since December of 2024. But I can go to this cube and you can see over time, a 3-month average is at $62, 6 months, 54, 12 months, 45, and a lifetime average of $71. So this is stats that will help you in building the budget you can list here. So you'll see at the bottom here, this cube has been spent from since June of 2021. And this is a lifetime total, not an average, but a total of $3,020. So that's really cool to see. It shows you how long I've been a customer of Qubes. I'll go ahead and show you my bills so you can get a look of what that looks like. So this is the same interface. So again, it'll show you your list of cubes or envelopes, your activity in the middle, and the information and stats over here on the right side. Depending on the envelope that you're clicked on, that's what's going to show up here, the activity. And what's different about your bills versus your spending, of course, is you have due dates and you have bill amounts. The way Qube does it is you'll have to fill out for each of your bill cubes, you'll have to fill out the budget amount and the bill amount. So we know bills can sometimes vary. So just say your light bill or your electric bill is sometimes $150, sometimes it's $200, depending on the time of the year. So you can come in here and update that bill amount each month. But the budget you set aside, let's just say you stick to paying them the same amount. You've learned an average and you prefer to pay that amount each month, and you know that it's going to balance out at the end of each year. Then you can set aside a budget for it. Or if there's a bill that you split between paychecks. So again, if you budget by paycheck, your bill is $150. You want to put aside 75 for this pay period. You can do that. And then on the next budgeting cycle, you can set aside another $75. Here, the sorting options here include due date. So you can not just sort by alphabet or last activity. You can sort by the bill amount. You can sort by whatever's underfunded or by the due date. I just default to the due date because whenever I come in here, I can see, okay, this vendor or this payee has yet to take out the money. It looks like my due date information needs to be updated. So what I like to do is be a little bit ahead of the bill and set aside the money ahead of time. And so that's why I guess it's so far ahead. But I'm going to go ahead and change the bill due date to the 10th because I don't like to see that red there. It annoys me. So I'm going to go ahead and update that. And you'll see it move down the list. AFPCE is just something, it's just an association that I'm a part of. So I won't worry about that. But here you can see I have in my bills set aside regions, my bank fee for regions. So that's what I use to get cash out. And so ordinarily I wouldn't have a bank fee, but I keep them in place so that I don't have to pay any extra money or not having deposits put aside into the account. Anyway, looking at the cubes, you'll see the anatomy is a little different here as well. So I've discussed the due date that shows up here, the bill amount, which is here. That's what you'll update. And also you can see here the card or account last four digits. So it'll look like this if it's a card, the last four digits of a card number. And it'll look like this. Let me show you one where it actually has not a card, but an account uh, ending number here. So here's an example. So for my city card, it has this little house here to showcase you, okay, this is the last four digits of an actual ACH account number versus a card number. So if you watched my last Cube video, you know that Cube allows you to do, you can have, depending on if you have a paid account, which I do, and it costs $108 a year, but I feel like it's worth it. Cube allows you to have an unlimited amount of envelopes or cubes. And with that, if they are a bill cube, then you can get an account number or a card number. Wait, you get both actually. And with bills that you use a card on, good example, those subscriptions that you sign up for during a trial period, you use that card number you're given, and let's just say you forget to cancel. Well, they can't get any money from you if you don't have money in that particular cube. You'd have to add money to the cube and then they charge you again, or they'll just cancel your account from that point. So I think that's another reason why I really like Qube and how useful it is when it comes to subscriptions. But yeah, so that is that anatomy. That's what this looks like. So you see this, you see your bill name, the balance that's in the cube, the ending account number, the bill amount, and where you over here is where you'll look at your budget. And so again, I have $0 allocated because I'm guessing this bill does not come out until another time period. Yes, it's going to be paid in this time period, so there's no money needed for this particular bill at this time. So let's continue on to the planning portion of the video. So what you're going to see when you go land on the planning tab is the dates or months, depending on how you've selected to budget. You select your budgeting cadence here, this little gear tab here. So you can budget by month on the first, you can budget weekly on Monday, you can budget every 2 weeks on Fridays, which is my pay cadence. I think one of the things about Cube is it's going to ask you to budget according to your pay, so your pay cadence. And so keep that in mind once you've done this and you enter your income, it's pretty helpful to do it that way. I think once I get to the point to where I'm a month ahead again, I will go to a monthly budget rather than a paycheck to paycheck budget. Anyway, as you can see for this pay period, I have already budgeted all of the funds, give or take a few dollars because I'm getting paid a little bit more than I anticipated. When the cash actually hits my account, this won't be balanced. Right now it's balanced. So as you can see here, you can see my income and you can enter, I guess I already have it set up. They have set up direct deposit. I'm assuming that's going to take you off screen to show you, give you a form to fill out and to give to your employer. And you can add expected income, so paychecks, side gig, recurring bank transfers, or you can schedule a one-time deposit that's coming into your account. And again, this is meaning for this particular time, this particular pay occurrence. So this would fit within this time frame. It won't fit within the next few pay occurrences. It's just meaning within this time frame. So I feel like this is really helpful. I'm glad that I took the time to look into how to do this because I was confused about how to use the planning tool. So that's why I'm making this video to share what I've learned with you. I'm going to give a breakdown of here and then I'll go on to budgeting my next pay period. And so I'm budgeting one paycheck ahead. So here's the plan info. This was just a visual breakdown of how much income I have, and then bills, which is this little red section here, as well as what portion is bills, which is a lot, what portion is your spending, and what portion is going towards your goals. So I really like that. The auto allocation is a little more advanced, and I may make a separate video going over that, or a separate section of the video going over the auto allocation. All that means is each month or each pay period, when the money hits my account, these are automatically funded according to the budget I've set up here. So as you can see, the max amount possible is this amount. That means I've told this amount in bills or expenses to auto fund on this day, the next run date, which is the day that I'm paid. So let's go ahead and do the fun part, which is budgeting for next pay period. All right. So you can see at the top that now reminds me so much of You Need a Budget or YNAB with this interface, but this is the amount that I have ready to budget for this particular budgeting period or budgeting cycle. And I need to give this money a job. So, depending on how you like to budget, some people like to pay themselves first. So that means going ahead, scrolling all the way down. I have a lot of bills, ignore that. Scrolling all the way down to your goals and setting aside that money for your savings objectives. I think what I'm going to do for this pay period is just go ahead and budget for the things that are going to come up in this time frame. And so again, Cube makes it easy for me to see that because I've already set all of this up. So I'm going to look at bills that are coming up after January 17th. So January 17th forward. And I think I'm going to go all the way to the 14th of February because for me, you can see here, January is a magic month. So I'm going to ignore that because I want to save that money. But yeah, so let's move on down to the 17th. Because don't forget, the money that budgeted here, this plan should cover all of those expenses from the 3rd on forward to the 16th. So as you can see, once you start, Cubes helps you out in guiding you in your budget by telling you your 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month averages. And also it gives you a lifetime average and a frequency by amount. I have to look and see what that means. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing it's the frequency you pay times the amount. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put the typical bill amount, which is listed. Yes, it is right here, right next to it. I think before doing this, I've already gone through this process and written down my budget by the calendar. So I'm just going to use that. That's on my iPad. So on the 18th, we have Audible. And I think this appears like this because you can just click on one of those amounts and it'll automatically just go into the budget fund. As you can see, that amount is changing here as I'm doing this. So I've set this aside because, of course, if you have an iPhone, you know that it's very convenient to use the Apple Card or Apple Pay option to have your subscription on there. So that's what that is. All of those come out. One thing I do miss about YNAB is that I used to be able to do math within the cell. I do miss that. So I'm gonna take my calculator and just do the math on this. Actually, this is coming up in March, so maybe I should prepare according to that. So it'll be 25 divided by 3. We'll set aside $9.08 for this month. And definitely need this app. Yeah. And my bills, I give myself 140. I think that's every, and I won't put anything there. So you can start to see the differences. So you have your bill amount, but your budget will be a different thing. Sometimes you'll see, do you want to save this for this budget period and the periods or budgeting cycles going forward? If you change your budget, I would say just save it for that particular budgeting period, sure, because of course your budget will change. Because you want to be actively coming in here every pay period, every month, however you choose to budget, and updating that budget amount. I know that for this pay period, I am going to be cutting it close. I won't have very much as far as spending money is concerned, but that's okay. It's a no spend month for me, so I should be just fine. I have my most important things, which is groceries and my monthly maintenance set aside. Like I said, we're going to try to get to on the 14th of February. So I know this says January. These dates haven't come up for January yet. So it will look a little weird, but I know, this is going to be February 6th, February 8th, all of that. And yes, I do subscribe to Chat GPT. I always say GBT for some reason. Actually, I can stop now because we are at the last bill was on the 10th, and that this one will be paid. I'm struggling to get that out. This one will get paid with the 14th check. So February 14th, not the 31st. So now that we see I have this amount left over, which is what I anticipated, and I'm not going to put anything towards my annual fee just yet. I'm going to be doing the 100 envelope challenge to begin. So I am prepping ahead of time. Oops. Oh, I can edit this from inside of here. I did not know that. So I just realized that you can edit the cadence, the bill cadence, and the bill amount from inside of the budgeting screen. So good. And so I want to put the typical 10%, what is it, 7 set aside. And I still have $79 left. So we'll go ahead and put that to our spending or cash, as I'm calling it. And with that, the budget is balanced. And now that this is done, I'm going to hit save. And don't forget, only saving this for this budget period. The next budget period will look a little different. All right, that's the Cube planning feature within their desktop. So you can't do this on the mobile device. You'll have to come onto your desktop and make these changes in your account. But I think it's really worth it. So go ahead and do this each pay period or each budgeting cycle. That way, once you're paid, you can turn on this auto allocation and wake up with money already pre-planned, pre-budgeted for, and all you have to go do is spend it or save it. Let me know if you have any questions.